next on CNN and Time. American teens, more choices, but familiar concerns.
I'm starting a brand new unit today.
I don't feel a lot of outside pressure. I feel a lot of pressure from myself because doing good is something that I have to do.
When CNN and Time continues.
Friday night football, the prom, that special teacher, images of high school, overshadowed in recent years by scenes of violence and death. But after Paducah and Columbine, has coming of age in America really changed? For a barometer of today's teenagers, Time magazine chose Webster Groves High in suburban St. Louis, Missouri. Not because Webster Groves is cutting edge, but because it is the middle of the road, the typical of the typical. The very same reason 34 years ago that CBS chose this school for a documentary entitled 16 in Webster Groves.
They are children of abundance, of privilege, of the good life in America.
That documentary, which outraged the Webster Groves community, portrayed many of its students as insular and materialistic. Here's what CNN and Time found.
My idea is...
It seems like everybody looks at high school and they think all the negative things. They think Columbine and they think all the shootings and they think all the, the scary things that could happen.
Let's go, Webster!
Go! When high school is a fun place.
I've spent the last 31 years at the high school.
Okay, I'll tell you guys were diligently doing your homework.
In the past 6 years, I've been fortunate enough to be principal.
That would we?
I think the biggest difference that I see is that each generation is being faced with more choices. And I think one of the toughest ones is where am I going from here and what am I going to do? And so the kids can feel that pressure.
Let's see if we can figure this out analytically.
That's all I care about is getting good grades and doing well. So that's the most important thing. I wake up at about 5:30 or 5:45 and I get ready. I'm usually at school by 7:15. And then I'm usually home around 10 or 11. Then I do homework then. So I'm usually in bed by 12:30. And I start back up at 5:30 the next day. I participate in the girls' varsity basketball team. So you got that much game? Mainly I'm looking at an academic scholarship right now because school and my education it's like the #1 thing that I'm thinking about right now. Basketball comes secondary.
The slope of that curve.
I'm taking a lot of hard classes. I'm really trying to push myself this year even harder than what I did last year by taking the advanced courses and the college credit courses.
Equation of that line.
I don't feel a lot of outside pressure. I feel a lot of pressure from myself because if I don't get good grades and I don't do well in school, there's no way that I'll be able to go to college because my mom, she wouldn't be able to pay for it. My biggest worry and fear is not being successful. I'm really scared that I won't be successful in life.
Larry!
Most of the people graduating here do want to further their education before they're out on their own.
I think, personally, a lot of people just say that they want to go, but they're still in the back of their mind kind of uncertain about what they want to do. Because, I mean, sometimes I have second thoughts, but, I mean, when it all boils down to it, I want to go to college.
I mean, there aren't many jobs you can get with just a college, like a high school education.
Kids say to me, wouldn't you like to be a high school student again? And I'm not sure I would because of all the choices that they have in so many different aspects of their life that I didn't face and a previous generation didn't face.
We're pretty open, me and my mom. We've talked about sex with each other all the time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm a hockey cheerleader, and basically I cheered all the hockey games. My boyfriend is a forward for the Skatesmen, and he's been on varsity since freshman year, so he's pretty good. I met him in 6th grade, so I've known him a long time now, but we just started dating like a year ago. When we decided to have sex, it just kind of happened. We didn't really talk about it, make a big thing about it. I talked to my mother about having sex, but when I first told her about it, I was kind of nervous, but I knew that she wouldn't be mad because I trust my mom. She wants me to feel open to come to her with anything. So, like, she offers to buy me condoms and stuff because she knows they're expensive and she wants me to be safe.
I think there might be more sex going on than there has been in past years. I'm sure there is.
See, I disagree. I think that there is the same percentage of kids who are sexually active now as there was then. The only difference is now it's public. There's more publicity about it. Whereas in 1955, if a girl had sex with her boyfriend before marriage, you know, she was looked upon as the, you know, the town bike. It was not a good thing to, you know, make public. But now, if you are having sex with your partner, it's okay, you know what I mean?
I guess I respected what my parents thought about it and about abstinence and stuff, and then like I became very religious, and I realized that it was something that I wasn't ready for at all.
We are kind of a microcosm of American society. We're racially, culturally, and socioeconomically, we are diverse. That has been, I would say, a gradual process that has occurred over the last 31 years that I have been at the high school.
Me and Sally's relationship began last year when I first came here. We started spending every day together and doing stuff together.
We just like hang out and just do normal girl stuff. It's nothing different.
That's the, you know, thing that I like about the school. Everyone's able to be friends together and do things together and put race and color aside.
When I first came to Webster, I was kind of like closed-minded as far as the white race because I came from an all-black environment and I had experienced some racial things, but Webster Groves has helped me to accept people for who they are and understand that people are just people.
Every high school has cliques. I mean, everyone since, you know, the 1950s has had its cliques.
As I see it, there's the football players and the guys that play lots of sports, and then there's the preppies, you know, the upper class, you know, part of the school that hang together. And then there's some people that aren't as accepted by others that just like mainly hang out together.
After school, we always kind of go out and sit on the church steps, smoke cigarettes, talk, hang out. Carrie, you missed. Generally, we're referred to as the church step dirties by a majority of the class. The group there attracts a majority of the outcasts from the school, just because it's a good place to go for just somewhere where you have friends, where you won't be ridiculed.
Is that it for the backpacks? Got anything you want to chuck in there?
Every day after school, in my house, we have a study group.
Okay, I want you to go over this entire page and stop right there.
We sit with Mother and talk. She asks us what homework we have and what kind of grades we're getting and such. And
a lot of these kids had a very underachieving year last year, and they felt like failures. And so during the summer, they were talking about how they dreaded going back to school. So at that point, I got the idea for this group and said, well, what do you think if we just hold something that makes you keep to it?
It's probably around the C or B.
I have everybody's class schedules here outlined by the hours that they're in that class. English, they can do their studies, get help with their studies, and also just have a good, safe place to be.
It's a place where you can find other people to talk to be with, someone that's had your problems and understands, someone who will open up and just be your friend.
I don't like the word cliques, and I think that everybody gets along. I get along with DJ just as well as I get along with Beth, who looks probably more like me, so.
Personally, I haven't had friends all the time. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to say that there aren't cliques because coming from my perspective, I see them everywhere. You know, I see that little groupie and that little groupie, and you know, that person over there who's with that group doesn't agree with what I do, so they're going to ignore me.
Can you give me about 5 minutes?
Yes, sir. I'm not going any place in my office whenever you're ready.
In the 31 years I've been at Webster Groves High School, I've never had an instance where I have ever been concerned about my safety.
Using your atlas, I would like for you to turn to page. There was a survey done 2 weeks ago in the school paper that said that 98% of the kids here at this school feel safe coming to school, which made me feel really good.
It's Webster Groves, you know. We all kind of grew up here, and it just doesn't really seem like anything could really happen. Maybe it's a false sense of security.
I feel safer sometimes, but most of the other incidents, they were in small towns. They were close-knit, and everybody, knew each other. And
We know that it can happen, and we know that we should be mindful, but it's not like we're psycho-paranoid teenagers where we're shaking in class, like, oh God, I'm gonna get shot.
We know more about the kids sometimes than even their parents do, and they open up to us a lot. Hello! You know, you can't just let the kids think that when the bell rings that you don't care about them anymore, because you do. They're your life now, and so you hang out with them, which is kind of pathetic. Boy, save her out.
Now, you know I'm talented, but not that.
A day doesn't go by that I don't learn something from them.
Problem-solving skills for who? You guys or me?
The most rewarding aspect of my job is watching a freshman class come into the building and watching those kids when they're ready to graduate and see all the wonderful changes that have happened to those kids over the next 4 years. My goal when they leave us is they have as many options available to them as possible as they walk out the door.
For all the anxiety students at Webster Groves High expressed over college and the future, their school has a pretty good record when it comes to continuing education. SAT scores are a little better than the national average, and more than 3/4 of Webster's graduating seniors last year went on to college. That's this edition of CNN in Time. I'm Bernard Shaw. Jeff, I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Bernie. Coming up next on CNN, stay tuned for Millennium. Tonight, the 12th century. From an 800-room Pueblo complex in North America to the Gothic wonders of Europe, Millennium explores the century of the axe. I'm Jeff Greenfield. For everyone at CNN in Time, good night.
To purchase a transcript of this program, please call 1-800-CNN-NEWS. Visit us at cnn.com/CNNTime and time.com. For more on life at Webster Groves High, read Time magazine this week.